The Romans watched in amazement as Hannibal attempted to isolate Rome from its allies. Now in the summer of 216 BC, Hannibal seizes a vital Roman supply store at Cannae and blocks the route to the grain fields in the south. Goaded and threatened by hunger, the Romans march out to crush him.
Hannibal must have known that this was it. This was Rome's big attempt to exterminate him. And they thought they could do it, as they always had done, by sheer weight of numbers.
The Roman legions continue to gather at Cannae until 85,000 men face the Carthaginians. The Romans will do anything to stop him. They throw more and more troops at Hannibal. They feel so confident, they carry shackles to imprison him, should they take him alive. They have no idea what they're up against. The next morning, the Roman army marches onto the battlefield. Neither Hannibal, his men, nor any of the Romans have ever seen so many soldiers in one place. The Romans form a huge, deep block, stretching back for almost a mile.
Hannibal can see that this army is big and it's going to go forward and deliver a very strong attack, but it isn't going to be able to do anything very clever at all. It isn't maneuverable. It's a big, clumsy sledgehammer of a force.
Among the men is Scipio the Younger, now an officer. But at Cannae, he still has much to learn. For millennia to come, generals will study the inspired positioning of Hannibal's troops. In front of the massed Roman infantry, Hannibal places his allies from Spain and Gaul. They will bear the brunt of Rome's attack. Cavalry face each other on both flanks. Elite African mercenaries are held in reserve. Hannibal puts himself in the front line with his Spaniards and Gauls. Here, he will be exposed to great personal peril.
Hannibal is, par excellence, the leader by example. Here is a Barca. Here is Hamilcar's heir. Does he sit on a white or a black horse on a bluff, looking down on his army fighting at Cannae? No. Hannibal is there in the center of his center, fighting at huge risk, clearly to himself, like the most common of his private soldiers.
Facing the full force of Rome's greatest army, Hannibal leads his men forward to meet them.
He advances the center of his infantry line to provoke the Romans, to lure them on, to make sure that that Roman infantry attack comes straight in where he wants it. That's where he is himself, and that's where Mago, his brother, is. They stick with the Gauls and Spaniards.
Hannibal and his Gauls and Spaniards fight to keep formation.
Their instinct should be to flee, and yet Hannibal stands there with them, steadying them, stiffening their resolve, ensuring that they don't flee. Instead, they backpedal very slowly, sucking the Romans into a trap.
The Romans surge forward.
As far as the Romans are concerned, their plan is working perfectly. There's a chance of this massive, clumsy victory that they'd wanted, so they push on. But in doing this, they've lost what little order they had. It's like the crowd spilling out of a big football match. Thousands and thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, crammed together in a very small space.
The Romans are playing straight into Hannibal's hands. His plan is working. While Hannibal, the Gauls, and Spaniards keep the Roman infantry occupied, his cavalry rout the Roman horsemen and chase them from the field. Hannibal springs his trap. His deadly African mercenaries cut into the undefended Roman flanks.
They're suddenly facing foes that are coming from different directions. They can't organize a proper fighting line to face them. Everything is chaos. Momentum from the Roman attack goes completely. The crowd has stopped, but most men in it don't know what's happening at all.
Hannibal's cavalry returns to complete the encirclement of the Roman infantry. The Romans are surrounded, but the battle doesn't stop there.
Those tens of thousands of Romans have to be killed, and they have to be killed by hand. It's a case of a long, steady, prolonged slaughter, fought very brutally, face to face, toe to toe, eye to eye.
The young Scipio manages to fight his way out. But 50,000 of his comrades do not. Hannibal and his men spend the entire day annihilating the Romans in one of the greatest battles in history. Cannae is a bloodbath of epic proportions. This is Rome's worst defeat and Hannibal's greatest victory.
He hasn't ambushed them, he hasn't surprised them, he hasn't used elephants or anything dirty and exotic like that against them. He has gone with a smaller army and he's simply beaten them. But he hasn't just beaten them, because he has virtually destroyed this army that was bigger than anything the Romans had ever put into the field.
Hannibal collects the rings of dead aristocrats from among the 50,000 mutilated Roman corpses.
He had slaughtered Romans beyond his wildest dreams, and he had won glory enough to satisfy any human for a lifetime. But he was a pro. I'd be surprised if he thought that after Cannae, that was it, that the war was over. So naturally, he would have paused for a moment to say, wow.
After Cannae, it seems just a matter of time before Hannibal's dream of crushing the Roman Republic and saving his homeland of Carthage will come true. In Rome, the effect of the carnage will be felt for decades. Hannibal's army has killed 50,000 Romans. The male lines of countless families are wiped out. Everyone fears the name Hannibal.
After Cannae, the Romans are very scared of Hannibal. After Cannae, Romans can imagine their city being destroyed, defeated, and the Republic ending.
In Rome, they wait for Hannibal to attack their city. But Hannibal's army is relatively small, designed for winning quick victories on the battlefield, not for long sieges.
The problem was manpower. You cannot besiege a city unless you outnumber it significantly, at least 3 to 1. That's the usual rule of thumb.
The Roman Republic derived its power and military might from its allied city-states. After the slaughter at Cannae, many of these allies in the south defect to Hannibal. If Rome shows any weakness now, more will abandon the Republic. As Hannibal waits for more allies to join him, he also eagerly expects reinforcements from Carthage.
Hannibal expects Carthage to scent the opportunity that he can see, that Rome is in a bad way. It won't take too much more. If we keep on pushing, Rome will crumble, Rome will fall. So Hannibal expects Carthage to back him up to the hilt.
These are the rings of Roman senators who've already fallen to our sword. They are the symbols of our many victories over Rome. What we need now is more men, so that we can finish this war once and for all.
Well, there go Barca. If the Romans are very nearly vanquished by your brother's heroic forces, why does he now seek our help?
With fresh supplies and more men, this campaign would be over.
I seem to recall that your brother assured us that his conquest would be a quick affair. How long has it been now? 3 years. And what have you to show for it? This campaign is over, my friend. Hannibal's army in Italy will receive no further assistance from this Senate. And furthermore, I move that you, Mago Barca, be appointed to command those reinforcements that we are dispatching to Spain.
We won, and won, and won again. But they send troops and supplies anywhere but to Hannibal.
His enemies are more powerful. The jealousy against him is stronger than ever.
Hannibal will continue the war with Rome alone.